to my channel. My name is Amy Bowman and I teach visual art in Colorado. Each week I upload a new visual arts warm-up. But right now, as a DonorsChoose ambassador, once a week I am posting a video with hints about DonorsChoose or highlighting a project in my area. So stay tuned because this week I'm going to show you how to create a project step by step on DonorsChoose.
Let's jump in and create our first project. Once you sign in, DonorsChoose will take you to your project page. If it doesn't, you can reach your project page from the drop-down menu in the upper right-hand corner by selecting Projects. On your projects page, you'll see a couple of different things. The first is your projects update, and that's up here towards the top right. And that gives you any to-dos that you need to complete. If you need to confirm funding or you need to complete a thank you package. You'll see some tools and resources. You'll be able to see projects near your school, find match offers and tips for teachers on their blog. I always like to check match offers to find out if there's any way that I can get a 50-50 match for my projects. That means that every donation to your project will be matched. That's a great way to ensure that your project is funded in a timely manner. You can set up a custom URL for your DonorsChoose page. You can see recent donations. And then a little bit further down below, they break their projects into all of your projects that still need actions. So for me, I have 2 projects right now that I need to submit thank you packages for, and then it'll show you all of your completed projects. I know that as soon as you start using DonorsChoose, your completed projects will start increasing very quickly. It's a very empowering and useful tool to use, and I know that you're going to enjoy having access to new resources for your classroom. You want to go ahead now and select Create a Project. There's 3 different types of projects: standard, student-led, and professional development. The student-led projects, you can actually have students develop the project from start to finish. Professional development is very self-explanatory, but we're just going to talk about standard today. So I'm going to go ahead and select Let's Go. The first thing that you're going to do is talk about the age groups that you see and then the number of students you come in contact with. I teach semester and quarter length electives, so I see a lot of students each year. In the next section, you describe your students. The first section, I like to talk about their community, what sort of challenges they face, and the process that they go through to get to school, background, and so forth. In the next section, I just like to focus on the positive things about my students. What are their good qualities? How do they like learning? What excites them about learning? And how I can really just help them grow and learn and thrive. In the next section, you're going to include a class photo. This photo is actually a great photo from a project we had funded to get pedometers. You select Save and Continue. The great part about the last page is that once you complete it, you don't have to complete it each time you create a new project. This is what everybody's really curious about, is how do you request supplies? How do you pick things? And you can shop from any of their listed vendors, everything from Amazon and Best Buy to Blick, Carolina, Dick's, and school specialty, and you select items from these sites just like when you would be shopping for yourself. DonorsChoose encourages people to keep their first projects under $500. I encourage people to keep their first project and most of their projects under $300. That doesn't mean you can't request a classroom set of tablets, but if you break it down into more manageable amounts, your projects are more likely to get funded, and they're more likely to get funded in a quick manner. So today, I'm actually going to shop at Amazon Business. As the weather's getting cold and students are getting sick, we need some things just like bleach wipes and hand sanitizer and tissues. Each vendor page, when you select that vendor, it's going to give you some information that you're going to need to know before you start shopping with them. If there's certain things they don't supply or only certain things that you can select. So for Amazon, it notes that I need to ensure that anything that I'm putting in my basket needs to be prime. So I'll select Start Shopping on Amazon. And I'm going to do this just like I was shopping for myself. I'm going to look for some disinfecting wipes. This is a great price here. It's prime. Go ahead and put that in my cart. I need some hand sanitizer. It's so important to make sure that our students are staying healthy and that our classrooms are sanitary, especially this time of year, so that they're not sick and missing school. Want to get some facial tissues. I'm always amazed how quickly we go through facial tissues. And I'm going to include some baby wipes for when we are sneezing or getting sick to make sure that students can just stay clean and comfortable in the classroom. Now you'll see that I have 4 different items in my cart. I'm going to go ahead and review my cart. Everything looks good. I'm actually going to increase this. I'm going to request 2 sets of wipes, and then I'm going to submit these items for approval. Amazon is actually transferring all of these items to DonorsChoose and putting them in my cart here. So what you'll see is you'll see the items I requested. The great thing about this is I don't have to shop from just one vendor. If I saw perhaps on Staples that disinfecting wipes were cheaper, I could purchase them from there instead of Amazon. So you'll see your materials cost, then your vendor shipping charges, taxes, processing fee, and then there's a labors and materials costs. DonorsChoose, from posting your project to you receiving your supplies, follows that process, orders all of the items. They do a really great job with it, and it's important that we are able to pay their employees. So you have a total project cost, and then they encourage a donation to DonorsChoose. This helps ensure that DonorsChoose can continue to run and that they can continue working on finding more funding opportunities for teachers. So you have a total price here. If there's additional things that you want, you can continue shopping. I'm going to go ahead and summarize my cart. And right now, I'm not going to talk about the project or my students or why we're doing it. I'm just going to clearly state what we need. So my students need baby wipes, facial tissues, hand sanitizer, and disinfecting wipes. I'll select Save and Continue. This is where we go into our project details. This is where we make our project interesting and we convince donors why they should donate to our project. For the project title, it's really important that we use general common language. A lot of times as teachers, we use vocabulary that is career specific, and that doesn't always explain to the general audience what we're looking for. So I'm going to keep this fun and simple. And I'm just going to call Keeping It Fresh. I've actually developed the parts of this project so that you don't have to spend a lot of time watching me think about what I want to type. So about your project, in this portion, it's very like the last section, is that your second paragraph, the first sentence is going to be highlighted. The way I usually do this is I use my first paragraph to talk about the materials and how we're going to use them, specific projects, how they're going to be applied, what my students are going to do with these materials, and what they're going to learn from using these materials. In my second paragraph, I like to spend time talking about why are my students deserving and why is this important to them. It may seem like an unimportant project to request things like bleach wipes or pencils or paper or simple things that your students need, but there's really very true important reasons why it's relevant to student success. For example, for this project, my students deserve a learning environment that is welcoming, clean, and promotes learning. Unclean or unsanitary conditions distract from the primary purpose of a student's experience in the classroom, learning. There's lots of ways that you can explain your projects to help people understand why their donations are going to be so impactful for their students. This is where you really get to spend time and reach out to those donors and have your voice heard. In the next section, you're going to talk about subject areas. So you'll talk about what classes you teach and identify that. There's also a great new section called Warmth, Care, and Hunger. And since they've added this to the site, I've been making sure to do at least once a year. You can request things like winter coats, take-home foods, hygiene products. We've done 2 different projects. For one, we requested gloves and clean socks for our students, and another just hygiene products like deodorant and combs and toothbrushes to make sure that our students' basic needs are met so that when they come into the building, they can focus on their learning experience. You'll go ahead and select Save and Continue. And this is actually a project that I've had funded, so I'm not going to post it. But if all my parts are here, you won't see any red flags. So you'll see that I've got my title. You'll see that what I requested is a little bit larger font. And again, we discussed those first sentences of the second paragraphs are a little bit bigger than everything else on your page. It looks like the only thing I'm adding is that I didn't select my subject. So I'm going to go back and select my project and see Save and Continue. If you're ready to go, you'll go ahead and submit your project. And for the first few days, it'll be friends and family pre-funding. They can donate to your project, but it won't be applied until it's approved. Once it's approved, DonorsChoose will send you an email to let you know that it's been approved. This particular project, let me get out of here and we will look at what this project looked like live. So I actually posted this project and it was called Keeping It Fresh. The project that I was describing for you was actually a project that I posted recently. So we're going to go through and look at what that project looked like live. So while it was live, it looked just like it did in the edited version. But as it went, you could see that the donor level and how much I had to go. This project was recently funded, actually this week. Over here, it showed my funding offer, that there was an offer supporting teachers and students in Colorado. So each donation to my project was doubled, which was awesome. The supplies that I requested, the materials costs, vendor shipping charges, state sales tax, and again, broken down just like last time. And then my project activity. So you'll see that the resources were purchased by DonorsChoose. Here's was my impact statement. They asked me to complete that at the end of this. My project was fully funded, which was awesome. And each time someone donated to my project, they had the opportunity to write to me. I always like to go back, and if a donor writes to me, I like to make a short comment and respond and tell them thank you. Something personal to help them feel that I'm aware of their donation and I'm very appreciative. It was great. I donated to my own project because of the match. I've always donated at least a few dollars to each project to help get it off the ground and get the donations rolling. So you'll see just all the different donors that donated to my project. Now that the project is complete, if I go back to projects, you'll see the next step. And the next step is making sure we complete our thank you package. So next to keeping it fresh, it says submit your thank you package. And there's 3 different steps. I need to upload 6 pictures. And when I select upload photos, it's going to give me details. What should this look like? How do you do this? You upload and publish. You describe the impact. You spend a few paragraphs, a few minutes talking about how the materials affected your students. And then you collect and mail student thank yous. And again, there's lots of details about this, how to put this together, how to get them shipped out. And you don't have to pay to mail your thank you notes. They actually have prepaid mailing labels ready to go. I love this portion of this, that we have students participate in the process and be appreciative of the donations that people are making to them. Please feel free to contact me or another DonorsChoose ambassador if you have any questions about this process. This is truly a very empowering tool for teachers. I've loved the power it's given me to create new projects, to come up with new curriculum, and to just get the things that my students need to truly be successful and engaged in my classroom.